Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you the second section to Siberia in my 007 Bloodstone 007 difficulty video walkthrough. And this section is probably the toughest bit of this level. There's a few in Siberia that are challenging, but this is one of them. So what I do straight off the bat is I drop down the ladder to trigger the spawn. Then I climb all the way back up it and I run all the way back here, because you can use the corner trick from a distance and pick off guys as they come to you. And the reason I'm using this is purely because the enemies like to get very close when you're up on that forward ramp, and they kill you very quick on this difficulty. So if you stay back here and you stay safe, you will get to the checkpoint with no problems, and then you can start pushing forward and being a little bit more reckless. But as it stands, this is the best way I've found to do this moment, because it just seems to work a treat. Do note though, the gap between this and the weapons to your right, where you'll probably have to go and pick up another gun, you can get killed in the space of running that distance, purely because one bullet can kill you, even though you're Jiminy Bond, so it doesn't seem to make any difference. But it can be challenging here to actually see the enemies, but just don't get too eager, don't get too keen, and take your time, pick them off, and try not to die, because you will die very quickly on this part. But I'm currently using an MP5 that I've grabbed from the side, and nice bit of rhyming. It's a pretty decent submachine gun on the game. It can be quite accurate compared to some of the weapons, but the ammo is the biggest enemy on pretty much this entire game, because you never have an abundance of ammo for anything. I do have a couple of focus shots that I could be using, but you'll notice I'm just taking my time. I'm not pushing it. I'm not, trying to be cocky or anything like that, because you need to wait for the first checkpoint before you can even consider going out there. Because as soon as you run towards, those yellow steps in front of me, you're gonna get either one-shotted, two-shotted, or either way, you're gonna die pretty quickly. And it's just kind of funny how it doesn't do the Bond theme pretty much at all in this entire game, even though it is a James Bond licensed game. It's got Daniel Craig and Judi Dench in it, so it's like, what the fuck were they playing at? But the spawns are pretty predictable. You'll see the big commotion as the enemies turn up. There's one guy getting really close here, but the good thing about that is he's going to give me some ammo when he dies. Not that you want to go too far out there, but if you're ever unsure of how many enemies are left, use your detective vision, because it will show you, it will help you. And when it's quiet like now, don't push up, purely because you never know if there's going to be one or two enemies left. When you've killed the first bunch of waves, you will hit a checkpoint, and then you can feel free to move upwards. But if you're not patient, you're going to waste a lot of time on this section. So I'm starting to push up just to see if I can get anybody to shoot at me. Think somebody just did. There you go. I'm hurt like a motherfucker. Now I've got to be super careful. There's one more bullet and I'm going to be on my face. But luckily enough, it worked out for me. It paid off, and now I can try and figure out where the bullet came from, and I can hopefully finish the dude off, because this is the guy that's stopping the checkpoint from hitting, stopping the next bunch of enemies from spawning. So he goes down, and you'll notice it doesn't look like anything else is happening. Or is it? Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, things are exploding, so that probably means the next bunch of enemies have turned up. So as I just did, run back down to your spot. Make sure you've got a little bit of ammo. Don't forget your focus shots, and just keep peppering dudes. And doing your thing. Doing your James Bond. And if anybody's wondering, I think it's James Bond 23, which is the most recent one that they're making, has been confirmed. It was cancelled for a long time because I think like fucking Warner Brothers or whoever owns the rights to the movies, they were in a bit of a financial deluge, and it wasn't going their way, but they had to stop production, and now it's all ready to be going ahead again, and hopefully we'll get a stellar Bond title. Because I don't know about your guys, but I am enjoying Daniel Craig as Bond. I think he's definitely bringing something new to the table. Very similar to Pierce Brosnan when he first turned up, before he got kind of stale and kind of cardboard. I mean, I was a pretty big fan of Timothy Dalton while he lasted. I thought he was a cool and unconventional Bond, but he only managed to do two. And then you've got things like Roger Moore, who I never fucking liked. I thought Roger Moore was just a prick. He was just stupid, and everything he did was always casual. His silly Hawaiian shirts. But there are still some good Bond films with Roger Moore in, I'm not going to deny that fact. But I think it's pretty difficult to beat Connery when it comes to it. Anyhow, that's your first checkpoint. That means you can push forward, but be careful when you do, because as you see, I'm getting lit up like a motherfucker. So getting to cover. You see him on the balcony up there. That's the dude that shot me. There's a guy below me to his right, and there's guys to my left that I haven't seen yet. And I'm going to have to be really careful here. And the reason for this is there's a lot of dudes. They're shooting from very different directions. I'm getting crossfired to hell. And yeah, you don't take a lot of damage. So I'm using my focus shots on those two guys. That gets me another checkpoint. And where I'm looking now to my left is probably where the next bunch of guys are going to spawn. Did you see him up there? So switch up your cover. Kill him as quick as you can. Notice that there's the explosive barrels if you can't get a good shot off. That will sometimes save your life, bobbing up, hitting the barrels, and using the explosion to work your magic. And be careful of this lower area because enemies will try and flank you. And if they run up to your left, you can clean them up before they get onto this platform, but if you're too slow, they'll do it really quick, and yeah, you're in Cockslap City, so you don't want to be there. But one of them's got a grenade launcher, you can hear him firing it, so be conscious of him. And then to my right now, I think there's an avenue where they spawn on a balcony and they can actually run and jump onto the platform I'm on. And I'm not too sure what the spawns are like for that moment. Maybe I've already killed the enemies that do that, but I just remember in my recording runs when I'd failed, there was a couple of dudes that dropped down from that side. So always check, all around you to make sure that you're not going to get killed before you've beaten the shit. Because the checkpoints are interesting and some of them are not the most reliable, but as soon as it looks empty, you should be able to push through. If any enemies turn up, pray to God you can get in cover, or you're going to be seeing that checkpoint again, unfortunately. But there you go, that is one of the hardest bits of Siberia down. We've just got a lovely driving section now, and I hope you can pick up on the sarcasm in my voice, because the driving section isn't lovely, it's a fucking nuisance. And oh god, the driving, I just don't know why they've got it in, I truly don't. There is an achievement for doing this section without releasing the accelerator. So if you're going for that, just hold the trigger, don't let it go even in loading sequences. It doesn't matter how many times you die or how many times you restart, as long as you're holding the trigger, you're going to be fine. And I mean, a lot of these driving sections are more about memorizing where the path is than anything else. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking that's what driving games are, learning the lines, mastering the path, all that kind of nonsense, slipstream and fucking ugh. But this game's a little bit more complicated purely because there's a lot of shit happening. There's a lot of fucking particle effects, there's a lot of fire, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of snow, there's a lot of debris, and a lot of the times you can't really see where you're supposed to go, and then you go the way you think you are and a car will jackknife you and shit like that. So you've just got to be careful. But this is the real danger section, because if you go in the water you will die, you will see the loading screen again, you will be back, probably further back than you thought you were going to be. Which is a nuisance, but it's not the end of the world. It's just when I first played this driving section I got really frustrated because it's just not my kind of thing. It's like the cars handle like a piece of shit, the track is very demanding at times, and it just seems like an imbalanced section of the game for me, because there's a couple of really fucking awkward turns coming up where you've got to like skirt the side of things, and I think this next section is the one that's the biggest nuisance. Yeah, it is. But remember to hold the accelerator if you're going for the achievement. If you let go, you're fucked. But when you go along this path here, the ice starts cracking to your right, so make sure you stay to the left. And then there's going to be a little left turn here, just after these pillars. There you go, turning under. And once again, you're going to be curving towards the right and going around this rock. And that is an awful fucking turn to hit. Luckily enough, I managed to slam my car and slow myself down. And this one's a bad one as well, because you've got to go around the rock and then to your left, but not into the fucking icy water. And these cars control like fridges, so you need to be really careful with those moments. But as soon as you get on this straight, you've done the driving section. And then it's into the Hovercraft, which is another shooting section, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But as soon as you start, there's this couple guys across from you. There's one guy that's going to come near you. There's that guy there that I'm using the cover trick on. Then there's a buddy on the balcony who goes down pretty fast as well. And just keep pushing forward, staying in cover, not risking too much, and just keep proceeding through this, the top of this Hovercraft. Because that's what you're supposed to do. just keep pushing around. You'll notice I can tell there's a guy there. I'm just eking around this air conditioning unit so that I can see him with my lovely trick. But I'm going to talk about something else because, you know, this shit can get boring, and it is a 20-minute long video. I mean, look at me getting tagged. Just be careful. You die so quick on this game, it is horrific. But I don't know if you guys are like me, and by that I mean you've been listening to the giant bombcast over at E3, because I love E3. I wish I could go. It's not open to the public. It'd be awesome if I could get myself into a line of work that would facilitate my invitation to such an event. But instead, I watch all the videos, and then I listen to the giant bombcast as they get all the developers and all the people in the gaming industry around to Ryan's house, and they have like 4-hour-long podcasts that talk about all the stuff they saw at E3, all the stuff they liked, and a little bit more technical stuff about the gaming side, which I'm fascinated by, so that's cool as well. And then they did about 4 podcasts, and each of them was over 3 hours pretty much every single time. A couple were nearly touching 5 hours, so it was a hell of a lot of bombcasting, but I loved every minute of it. And I pretty much take their reviews and their word as truth for a lot of things, because they don't really steer you wrong that many times when it comes to their opinions of games and what they experience. I mean, you'll have your disagreements with people because it's just how everybody is. We've all got a preference. We've all got things we prefer. But the one thing that's concerned me the most out of everything that I've heard over this podcast is the Deus Ex stuff, the Human Revolution. And on paper, that game looks fantastic. On paper, you read about how you can stealth your way in, you can action your way in, you can do multiple approaches to this, like, you know, neon, dark city, noir, Blade Runner type of environment. And it sounds cool, and it's got the potential to be really cool, because obviously the first Deus Ex was a fantastic and, you know, revolutionary game. But then when you hear these prestigious people in the gaming industry, these people that have been reviewing games longer than I've been alive, that have played pretty much every other game that's come out, saying that it doesn't feel like a good game, and they've played it, saying it feels old, it feels clunky, it feels like a dated game, and throwing around comparisons to things like Alpha Protocol, which, if you played Alpha Protocol, that was such a potentially fantastic game. But when you played it, every single part where you were actually playing the game was fucking awful. The talking, the interrogation, the dialogue was fantastic, the storylines, the plots, all that kind of stuff was interesting. It had a couple of cool mechanics, but the whole playing the game part was atrocious. And I really do not want Deus Ex to be that, because I'm really excited for that game, and I've got a couple friends who are as well, and I mean, one of them is going to be absolutely fucking destroyed if this game turns out to be shit, because he's a bit of a cynical bastard as it is, and yeah, he's really looking forward to it. But it's like, it just can't be bad. I hope it's not bad. I really do. I've got so many high hopes for it. But just look at Ghost Recon, the new Ghost Recon, the Future Soldier. When they first were showing gameplay from that, like at last E3, or maybe it was a GDC or something like that, it was footage of those guys all in cloaks, all in like an urban environment, doing really close quartered executions of enemies, and it looked really cool. They all had shoulder mounted rocket launchers, all sorts of madness, and they were carrying, and they were like moving with a squad with an invisible drone, and various different, you know, crazy concepts that they got working, and it looked awesome. It even ended on a bit of a rail shooter section where the guy was up against cover and a helicopter was strafing the building and destroying all of this cover. The debris was flying everywhere, glass was flying everywhere, you know, it was just complete and utter chaos. And I thought it looked fantastic. However, this E3, they've showed what looks like almost a completely different game. It's like they've gone back to the drawing board, Splinter Cell Conviction style, and just completely changed what it is and what it feels like and what it looks like. And I'm hoping it's just a different level with a different feel, and that other stuff is still in the game, so there's a nice mix of, you know, different environments and different feel and moods of the game. But I just... hearing what the Giant Bomb guys had to say, they're all pretty much shitting on it before it's even come out. They're all saying that it doesn't feel like a good game, it doesn't play like a good game, and they're just not too sure what the hell they're doing, because this is a game that comes out later this year, and to the people that have played the gameplay demos, it doesn't look like a finished product at all, and that is just terrifying for a fan. It really is. On this section here, though, you do get an achievement if you can shoot all the missiles that if you can not get hit by any of the missiles that the plane fires at you. So just focus on its engines, shoot the missiles so that they don't hit your hovercraft. If you get hit by about 10 of them, it'll probably kill you. So make sure you prioritise shooting down the anti-air. But that aside, there's no real strategy here because the controls are dog shit, and because it's a rail section you're getting wiggled about like a moron. There's not a lot you can do except for just try and shoot, try your best to take out the engines. But yeah, and things that you wouldn't expect at E3 to be really showing promise and be impressing people, like Prey 2. I mean, I don't think I know anybody that likes Prey 1 except for me. And I can admit that there were parts of that game that were kind of sucky, but at the same time, I thought it was a fun first-person shooter. I thought the Portal idea was interesting, I thought some of the puzzles and the platforming was kind of cool, and he had some really cool weapons and cool ideas. And then Prey 2, they basically got rid of everything that was in the original Prey. It's almost a spiritual successor more than anything, more than a sequel, because there's nothing even resembling the old Prey, and all of a sudden you're playing a bounty hunter that's going planet to planet, picking up missions in like a Dark City, Blade Runner styled place, noir, Mass Effect themed, fucking like open world Oblivion style first person shooter, which looks pretty damn awesome and interesting and intriguing. And you just wouldn't have thought it coming from Prey 2. And then there's a couple of the more sleeper hits of the show, like the Far Cry 3 trailer, which you didn't actually realise it was Far Cry until the end, which was probably a big pro for that trailer, because I played Far Cry 2 and I thought it was a pile of shit. I played Far Cry 1 and I thought it was okay. I've never been the biggest Far Cry fan, but that new one especially looked pretty damn good. My only apprehension with it is Far Cry 2 looks pretty damn good, and when you played it, it was just fantastic environment and fuck all else. But once you've took out the engines, it's taking me slightly longer. You will get back in control of James Bond, and now you have to run and jump over onto the hovercraft. But be very careful, because as soon as you hop onto the wing, there's a checkpoint there, and then there's going to be a couple guys that spawn after this cutscene, and these guys will kill you super quick unless you go into cover straight away. And you'll notice I pepper that guy and then I slide into cover, and then you've just got to wait for your life to come back so that you can kill his buddies. And I must have died 3 or 4 times on this moment, purely because I got 1 bullet killed and there's not a lot you can do. And as you push up, there's a guy to my right that I'm looking at now. There he is. Make sure you kill him or he will end your day very quickly as well. But once you're up onto this, there's an interesting section coming up involving smoke and a time limit. It's not as challenging as it looks. Just make sure that you rush it pretty quickly and that you use the corner trick so that these guys don't get the advantage on you, because between you and the end of the level there is a couple of dudes, and they will kill you very quickly if you give them the opportunity. But keep making your way through the plane. Don't rush too fast, because you don't have to be super quick, because the only thing that rushing is going to do is guarantee a quick death. But the bar is filling up with a toxic agent, and when it gets to full, you'll probably fail. But if it's any confidence boosting for people, I've never failed this section on both times I've played the game through. It gives you plenty of time to, to get to the end, so don't worry about anything like that. But there you go, you're pretty much at the end of the Siberian level, and you've passed one of the more challenging levels of the game. You just have to shoot this guy out the airlock, and then you're done. So thanks for watching, guys, and you take